Hey everyone, Ben here and welcome to Motivation to Invest. Today I'm joined by a really special guest. We've got Queenie from the Invest with Queenie YouTube channel, fantastic channel. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, I'll leave a link for it in the description below. I've watched a few of her videos, actually really exceptional stuff. She provides real value, explains things really simply. And today she's joining us on the channel to discuss a few tips and her investing journey. Queenie, how are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me on your channel, and huge fan of your channel, by the way. So I'm so happy that we're doing this collab. I'm really excited to share our learnings with your audience.
What was your motivation to invest? What was your background? Why did you start investing?
I see what you did there with the
you like
motivation
that,
to invest. Nice. So I guess my motivation to invest was inflation. And I know that we learn about this kind of thing in school, but I don't think it was never really drummed into me. But then as soon as I realized, oh my gosh, leaving my money in cash is just not good enough because my money will be losing money with inflation. That's when I was really like, oh my gosh, investing is risky, but not investing is also bad because your money loses money with inflation. So that's what made me really want to start investing. So my money would be worth more in time and, not lose its buying power in 10, 20, 30 years time. Started investing in a robo-advisor. And at the time I had just started working in an office, really, like full-time in marketing. And for the first time in my life, I had a regular income and regular money that I could invest. And I figured, I was a little bit overwhelmed with all of the options to invest. So I decided robo-advisor seems pretty legit. It invests in ETFs, so I don't have to go through and pick any ETFs out. And it was a great first investment for me because I didn't lose money. Sure, it was a little bit, there are ups and downs with the market, but it wasn't like Dogecoin, it wasn't like 800% one week, down 50% another week. So I'm really happy that was my first experience with investing, so I didn't get burnt. And what about you? What was your first experience investing?
Oh, my first experience investing, it was more just similar. I started off with mainly index funds, tracking the world, tracking the S&P 500, FTSE 100. In a way, you thought about it very technically in terms of inflation, because they say it's usually around a 2% tax on your money each year. It's losing about 2% each year. I knew the money was losing money. So I was like, right, I need to put it to work. Then after I started getting deeper and deeper into stocks, found a real passion for it. What would you say your top 3 tips for investing in the market?
So I guess the first step is to figure out a strategy, what you're happy with based on how long you want to invest for. So, do you want to invest for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? That all has a huge impact on the type of investments that you can make. If you are young and you are investing for the long term, young people can take on a little bit more risk in their portfolio. And then also consider what kind of person you are. Are you a risk-adverse person? Are you going to freak out when Dogecoin loses 50% in a day? Or are you going to hold on for the long term and know that it will recover if you really believe in it? So I think, a combination of how long you want to invest for, your age and your risk profile, and then also something that makes you excited. Like at the end of the day, this is our life. We don't want to be investing in things that we don't believe in and we don't like. So whether that's property, like how you're investing, also like, your individual stocks, companies that you believe in, ETFs, if you just want to be a passive investor and just want to put your money somewhere and you don't want to do a whole lot of research, that could be an option. So just figure out what works for you. And once you have that strategy, just stick to it, because I think the crazy thing about the markets is you can hear so much noise in the media, right? Like, oh my gosh, like Kathy Wood's portfolio, ARK Invest is down.
ARK is sinking, that's what everyone's saying now.
I know. Oh, the stock market's down, it's all red, and it's a pretty scary place. And I think that when you have your money in the stock market, it can freak you out. It freaks me out. But I just have to remind myself of my strategy, that I'm not investing for a year and cashing out. I'm investing for like 10, 20, 30 years. So what happens right now doesn't really matter. So I try to kind of block out all of that noise and just stick to my strategy. Yeah, what about you? What are some tips for beginner investors?
There's a great quote by Peter Lynch, who was Fidelity Investments Magellan Fund, averaged about 30% return. And basically said the most important organ in the body when investing is not the brain, but it's the stomach. So you've got to have the guts to be able to go through those ups and downs, those swings, that volatility in the market. And you've really got to know what you own. You invest in your circle of competence, know which stocks you own, know why you own them, know the value of the company, and know, is the business getting better? I like to just invest into the business and just the stocks a portion of a company, rather than just a crazy ticker symbol going up and down or something like Dogecoin, which you don't really know what it is.
Yeah, similar to you. I think companies that I know in my circle of competence, I can admit that I'm not going to be somebody that knows a lot about everything, but that's okay because we're all different. We all have our different areas of expertise and we all have a superpower, I think. Like there's always a superpower that we all have. There's always a business that we probably know more than the average person. So we can put that knowledge and skill to work in our investing. And like you said, invest in companies that we know really well and we believe in and we really understand. I invest in some individual stocks like that. And then I also have some ETFs just because sometimes a good opportunity doesn't really come up and I want to invest. So I get a bit impatient. So instead of like investing in an individual stock when it's not really a good price, I would prefer to invest in an ETF. Whenever a company on my watch list comes into a good price range, then I'll invest in that if it's a good time and it's a good price to invest in. I'm curious, do you only invest in individual stocks? Do you also have like ETFs, cryptocurrency?
90% now I'm individual stocks. I've got a few ETFs, Scottish Mortgage Investment Trust. If you would have invested into them, well, I did in 2020, early 2020, returned about 150%, and now it's like 100% return.
Oh, only 100% return.
Only 100% return. For example, a couple of stocks I've invested into, I've spoke to the employees, I've spoke to people who work there. I just know the company. I know what's going on there. And so when the Wall Street analysts in the news says panic, I know, well, there is no panic because I've just spoke to the employee and they told me everything's fine in the office. That's the level of depth that I'd like to go in with on more companies.
Some of my favorite individual stocks are Google. I really like Google because I just think it's a really solid business. Obviously, it is like a very big blue chip stock. Some might argue that, it's already kind of reached a big size, but I feel like, buying into Google at a good price when it's undervalued. I've personally invested when it is undervalued and had some really good returns, and it's just a solid business. Like I really just don't see Google going anywhere in the next 10 years. And they also do invest in quite a lot of other businesses as well, which I really like. So I just think that it's a business that is constantly evolving, not just, in the search engine space, but in other spaces as well. And off the back of that, I also really do like Alibaba. So Charlie Munger recently invested in Alibaba, but I actually invested in it first. So
yeah, you're ahead of the game. He's following you.
He
must watch your channel.
Got tips from me. He called me up and he was like, Queenie, what should I invest in? And I was like, Alibaba. But in all seriousness, I have been looking at Alibaba for a while, and it hasn't made a return yet. I invested in it a couple of months ago when Jack Ma went missing. There was a lot of news and everyone was like, where is he gone? But I know the company really well, and the financials are great. It has a really great growth story. And I think that there's also so much more potential for it to grow as well, because internet usage in China, it's not the same as in developed countries. So companies like Amazon, they're in a lot of Western countries, but those Western countries have really, really big internet penetration, whereas China still has quite a long way to go with that. So I think that there is quite a lot more potential going forward. You could argue that there are some risks with the, People's Republic and potentially dampening Alibaba's growth, which could happen. That definitely is a risk, but I just don't really see them restricting a growth of a company like that, especially because it's just so huge and so integral to their economy. So I also really do like Tesla. I know that you could say it's super, super overvalued right now.
Yeah.
Definitely is. Like the PE ratio is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I think it's just such a solid business. If they can deliver on all of the plans that they have in the future, I think it could be a really cool business, especially with driverless cars. Definitely more of a speculative investment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that I've invested a lot of money into Tesla, but yeah, cool business to watch in the future for sure.
Those three companies, I own them all, great companies. Google straight away, that's my largest position. So I've got about 40, 50K just in Google. It was undervalued a few months back. In early 2020, I loaded into that. And the stock's up now since then. As you'll probably know, it's up by about 40%, 30, 40% already. Waymo with the driverless cars, self-driving cars, which are already operating. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, they're operating already in, I think it's Arizona. So you can basically go on the app, Waymo app, and you can hail a driverless car and it'll take you anywhere. So it's already, they're ahead of Tesla. Do you invest into crypto?
I do, yeah. I just have Bitcoin and Ethereum. I got burnt in 2017 with all those altcoins that some of them just haven't reached those peaks. So I've learned my lesson and I'm not going to invest. I mean, maybe I would invest in like some other ones like Cardano. Seems like a pretty good one. Yeah. But I think Bitcoin and Ethereum, those are the ones that I have faith in. And I think that they will be around long term. What about you? Do you invest in crypto? Yeah,
those are probably the two best ones. I covered Cardano on the channel. That's probably what I think probably the best play right now. The same founders as Ethereum have founded Cardano, and it's basically an improved, cheaper version for developers. So it's used for smart contracts and all that sort of stuff. So I'm a contrarian investor. I observe the masses and do the opposite. So when everything's popular, when Bitcoin's really popular, like right now, that's when I'll be selling. And I sold mine recently. I probably could have held it. I just had other investments, and I sold mine recently before Tesla just stopped accepting payments. So it was perfect timing. And yeah, it's been great to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me as well. I really appreciate it.
Anybody, if you've got any comments, comment below for Queenie or for anything we've discussed in this video. Comment below, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Invest safe.